As prosecutors and defense attorneys haggle over evidence and witnesses for the Day of Terror trial, Ali Mohammed becomes a highly sensitive subject. In the end, the government makes a concession to the defense. It will acknowledge in open court the role of the US in aiding the rebels in Afghanistan. But it seems prosecutors do not want Ali Mohammed to testify. The defense has a theory as to why.
It was my view that the government did not want Ali Mohammed to testify and that they would do anything in order to prevent that from happening. The reason why the government didn't want Ali Mohammed to come to trial, which became clear with the benefit of hindsight, was that he was an operative and he was working through various intelligence agencies.
August the 20th, 1998. In retaliation for the embassy bombings, President Clinton orders cruise missile strikes on targets in Afghanistan and Sudan. The missile strikes failed to hit bin Laden or other al-Qaeda leaders. Summer 2000. Al-Qaeda's 9/11 hijackers have arrived in the US to train as pilots. Jersey City, New Jersey. Two of the leaders recruited by bin Laden, Mohammed Atta and Marwan al-Shehi, are seen near the Sphinx Trading Company, the same place where years earlier the blind sheikh and at least one other member of his terror cell obtained private mailboxes to communicate in secret. Ali Mohammed explained this tactic in his terror training manual, and now it's being used again. The 9/11 plot is in high gear. October the 20th, 2000. Ali Mohammed, wearing leg irons, is led before a federal judge in Manhattan. He waives his right to a jury trial and pleads guilty to conspiracy charges. Mohammed knows he's about to put his fate in the hands of the US justice system. He confesses to his role in the African embassy bombings and implicates bin Laden in the attacks. He admits to his involvement in plots to kill American soldiers in Somalia and Saudi Arabia, and US civilians anywhere in the world. He admits to training terrorists and conspiring to kidnap, murder, and maim. He states that his objective is to force Western powers out of the Middle East. Within an hour, Mohammed's court appearance is over. The judge does not pronounce a sentence. He sets a date for sentencing, but the hearing never takes place. It's an unusual scenario. Mohammed gives up his right to appeal. His defense attorneys raise no objections. Mohammed's file remains sealed. He is removed to a secret location, presumably the witness protection wing of a federal prison. After his guilty plea, Mohammed continues to cooperate with the FBI. At the FBI's request, he even writes lengthy papers on subjects including how terrorists might attack the United Nations headquarters or US warships in the Persian Gulf. February 2001. 4 defendants go on trial in New York for the African embassy bombings, including Mohammed's friend, Lebanese-American Wadi El-Haj. Assistant U.S. Attorney Patrick Fitzgerald does not put Mohammed on the stand to testify against them. Doing so could hurt the government's case.
Bottom line is that he has too much baggage. So why take the risk?
May 2001.
Today's guilty verdicts are a triumph for world justice.
The jury finds El-Haj and 3 others guilty of the African embassy bombings. All get life sentences. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., intelligence officials pick up a dizzying array of signs that terrorists are planning a major attack. By the summer of 2001, in the words of CIA Director George Tenet, the system is blinking red. Crawford, Texas, August the 6th, 2001. President George W. Bush, on vacation at his ranch, receives his daily brief prepared by the CIA. It's entitled, bin Laden determined to strike in US. It would appear that at least some intelligence from Ali Mohammed has made its way to the president's desk.
If you look to the 6 or 17 sentences that are in there, what I've seen, all that information came from Ali.
The president's brief says, an Egyptian Islamic Jihad operative told an unnamed service that bin Laden is planning to exploit the operative's access to the US to mount a terrorist strike. Al-Qaeda members have resided in the US for years. A senior EIJ member lived in California in the mid-1990s. Since his guilty plea in 2000, Ali Mohammed has been meeting with US authorities and sharing details of his terrorist activities. During one such meeting, Mohammed tells the FBI about a plot to crash an airplane into the presidential palace in Cairo.
I can tell you that I personally handed a floppy disk with every one of Ali's profit sessions to the CIA. The reaction I got was rather tepid. You know, that's historical. The notion that the United States had nothing in its possession prior to 9/11, that Al-Qaeda had even thought about using a plane as a weapon, frankly, doesn't hold up.
When the towers fall, Ali Mohammed is immediately confined to his cell in the witness protection wing of an undisclosed federal prison, with no access to news reports. The following week, the FBI has him brought to this New York City jail for another interview.
So I walked in and I said, well, tell me how they did it. What he laid out was the attack as if he knew every detail of it.
Mohammed explains how the hijackers have to position themselves, some in first class, others in economy, and how they hide utility knives in their hand luggage.
It's just kind of eerie.
Did this mean that Ali Mohammed knew how and when Al-Qaeda was planning to attack the US?
I think he probably understood that the World Trade Center was a target at some point.
October 2001. 1 month after the terrorist attacks, during the US invasion of Afghanistan, Ali Mohammed provides information to US authorities about the location of Al-Qaeda training camps. June the 16th, 2004. The 9/11 Commission holds its final hearings in Washington. In his testimony, U.S. Attorney Patrick Fitzgerald shed some light on Ali Mohammed and his deep connections to Al-Qaeda.
Ali Mohammed helped train some of the people who later carried out the World Trade Center bombing, went back to Afghanistan and helped train a lot of the top leadership in Al-Qaeda. Then he went as a U.S. citizen and surveilled a dozen targets in Nairobi in 1993.
The 9/11 Commission's final report mentions Ali Mohammed only briefly. Yet there are few figures who have had such a sweeping influence on the evolution of Al-Qaeda. Mohammed's name appears nowhere in the federal prison system. To this day, his legal status and his whereabouts are closely guarded secrets. His own attorneys declined to comment for this program. There is no public record that he was sentenced. By many accounts, he is still in a federal prison somewhere.
The reality is he's still being consulted as we speak today. He still has insights. His thinking has been considered very important. And so U.S. investigators, prosecutors, FBI agents still meet with him regularly. But he's not going to be leaving prison anytime soon.
But one defense lawyer in the African embassy case believes that Mohammed's value as a source of intelligence must be diminishing as the years go by.
So at some point, I assume the government will say, we have gotten everything we can and everything we need out of Ali Mohammed. I think the most likely thing that will happen is he'll be released, he'll be given a new name and a new identity, and he will pick up a life someplace.
The United States doesn't see what the Arabs see. The American will not listen to him because the Americans see what they want to see and hear what they want to hear.